Hello, everyone. My name is Guido, and I'll be the host of today's webinar. And today's topic is about the new Flex.bi 6.00 version. We'll talk about the new features that we added and the changes. A little bit about myself. Been working in Flex.bi for 4 years now, and now I know the product very well. It's been very good so far. And today's agenda is we're going to talk about the interface. That's one of the big changes. Then we have color palette, some freeze header functionality, weekday dimension, standard calculations, budgets from standard ERP. Then two big changes, consolidation and incremental import. This webinar is there's going to be a recording available for this webinar. We will you'll be able to see it later as well. And if you have any questions during the webinar, please write them in chat, and I will do my best to answer them for you. Okay. So first, the cloud users. So people who have been using cloud, you might already have noticed that there have been changes to the interface. And the main idea here is to make the look more lighter so that there's higher emphasis on the graphs and tables and numbers that you would like to see. So this is how the interface looks in the new version. And just as a comparison, this is how it looked previously. As you can see, these buttons have been changed around. The colors of here have been changed. And also the overall look has been made a little bit not as dark. This is a table view that has been changed. Again, the colors, this was the previous version. There was a lot of cluster. There was a lot of things that took your attention, and we boiled it down or took it down to make it lighter so that you can see the graphs. So all of the tables here have been changed, these colors, and also the row and column colors have been here reworked. And this is how the You Analyze section looks. Some of the icons here have been reworked, and very similarly, all the colors as well. And addition to the interface changes, there have also been changes to colors. If you check the colors right now, there are 56 colors available by default, and they're structured in a way that there are a couple of base colors, 8 base colors, and those colors get lighter and lighter. So you can put higher emphasis or something, or maybe it's a little bit less, and include more colors. Here is an example where this can be used, where this is a heat map table that is more red, more towards the red if the numbers are lower, or towards the green if the numbers are higher, just so that you can take a look at the table and get a quick view visually. How are the results? For example, this report is about the gross profit percentage. Here's another simple heat map table set up in very similar way, where the higher the number, the brighter the color, right? And so that taking a look at this graph, for example, with the new colors, you can get, just by looking at it, you can get the general idea about where are the highest values and where are the lowest values in the table right away. Also, in the new version, there's a new dimension available, and it's weekdays. For example, if I have in this graph table, you can see salespeople and what they've been selling, how much. I can, for example, drill across this week dimension. It's under additional dimensions. You can find it. And if I pick weekday dimension here, now this will display the results by different days, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. So maybe I want to see when do people buy more, what are the days that salespeople maybe sell more, or something like that. You can have, and it's available for all the cloud users. The dimension is available right now. If you run import once, it's there. You can start using it right now. And so in previous versions also, you could also freeze header, which means that if I scroll down, as you can see, that the header comes with me, and sort of I can remember what column am I checking. And now if you freeze header, the rows header also freezes. Just a small thing to make your life a little bit easier. And also in previous versions, there were already introduced standard calculations. I'll show you how it will work. For example, I have some results, item quantity sold by salespeople. I can just click on the column, select statistical average, and I'll get what's the average amount the people sell. Or I can see, for example, percentage of total, right? So how much 20,000 is total from everything that has been sold, right? And these are accessible right now for cloud users as well. Just 2 clicks and you can do it. And these were available previously as well. You could use them. And now we added also 2 more sections. One is time ago. So if I select, say, 2020, and then I want to compare this to last year. Let's see, a year ago. Then I can have a column with results for the last year just by doing this. One note is that if there's some advanced calculations in your measures that I might need to make some adjustments, but for simple calculations, this works perfectly fine. Also, if you have tables that have results, empty results, like nothing, but you still want to see a 0 in that case, you can select empty as 0 and it will show the same column, but just have zeros when there was nothing displayed in the column. So those are the 2 sections that have been added before. And also just to mention, maybe you would like to use it, I recommend using it. There's linear trend functionality, which over time could show what's the trend. Just by selecting this, you can see what's the trend of, are you growing? Are the sales growing? Are the sales maybe declining? You can see what's the trend of things, right? Just by doing this. Okay, so these are the interface and color changes. Do I have any questions about this so far? In the new version also, we included standard ERP budgets. So in standard ERP, there's budgets. There's 2 registers, budgets and revised budgets. And right now, Flex.bi automatically already imports these in, right? And you can start using them. So here are 2 examples 2 example graphics where this is used already. This is just balance over time and some budget and revised budget comparison. And here I have the balance for this specific account over months and it shows what was the initial budget, what was the revised budget, and how much initial revised budget, and how much budget is left. If I open up the table, this is where you can find these two new measures. They're just right next to balance, credit, and debit. So we went over the new interface, colors, and all the small things, but in this version, one of the biggest changes, probably for a while, from a long time ago, is the total consolidation. This is not just consolidation, it's like a total consolidation. We're talking about the consolidation. Previously, there was some consolidation partially, and that consolidation was only for finances. So you could consolidate the financials data. But in the current version, there's consolidation available for all data cubes. That means you can consolidate invoices, goods receipts, sales orders, activities, and so on. So everything is available for consolidation. This is an example little dashboard that I created where I can see turnover and invoice count for two different companies, so that I can compare over months, or time period, right? Like, so you have results for company 1 and results for company 2 in one place. How it works. Okay, so this is how it looks. How it works is that, sorry. To enable consolidation, you have to contact support at Flex.bi. Then you have to enable this or if you are a private user, you have your own parameter for that. We will tell you how to do that. And but one important thing to know is that by enabling the consolidation, all the structure of all the dimensions will change. So everything will change. So if you have some kind of reports previously, then these will need to be reworked. The reason for that is, like you can hear, this is after consolidation, when it's enabled, this is the item dimension. And usually the items hierarchy, it starts with items, then you can see items by item groups, and then you can see by items, right? These are, for example, item groups like audio products, and then you could see a specific items. But after enabling the consolidation, everything is separated by companies. So you don't see items, item groups, but you can see items, a company, and then the groups and items under that company, and the same goes for the other one, right? So these are, so this is in these test data, everything was very similar and matches, which is the perfect scenario for using consolidation. It's very similar, but in your case, this might be a little bit different. When one company has a group or item more or less, and the other one has some item more or less as well. Okay. So when you're that's why every report previously set up, if you have them in an account with one company, is going to be different because the hierarchy changes and you have to make reports a little bit differently. And to combine these companies' data right now, here is, let's close this one. For example, here is an example where I did that, where I can select a company and it will show me, this is the results, the turnover by item groups over time for the first company. I can select this for the second company. As you see, the second company has data only from 2020. And if I select both companies, it gives the total result for both. Right now, I did it with this simple calculations where I picked and choose what I want to combine from both companies and made some manual item groups. Right, so that's how it works right now if you want to put it together. And it also works with different, let's open that up. It also works with different extra dimensions. We call them extra dimensions, but those are objects, customer categories, customer classification types, item classification types, and item varieties, as well as location classifications. Those are extra dimensions, and these are, you can combine them. If you have two companies that have the same objects, like they have some same code, same name, Flex.bi will know how to combine these. Right? So I can go from one company and see what's the result for other company. And in this example, I'm using the customer classification. So I think it was customer classification for type business, see the same hierarchy. So in Flex, so when you pick objects that are the same, Flex.bi will combine these objects into one object company, put them together. And it also works if we have only some kind of extra dimension, let's say object in one company, and you don't have in the other one. So that works as well. You can select the object type, it will import, make all the objects. There's not all the data for the other company is just going to be linked to a none. It will be linked to a non-member, which is fine. So you will still be able to analyze data on the one company. So after we enable after the consolidation is enabled for the account, you have to go to source data, edit your source application, and the new thing that shows up in this window is going to be this section where you can specify a list of company codes for extra dimensions, like objects separated by commas. This means that this is the place where you specify from which companies you will be taking extra dimensions, or for example, objects. Like, so if you want to have objects from company one and the objects are same for all your companies, then you can just put to one company. If you know that the third company has some special objects that you also like to use, you can put also the other company, and that's how it works. There's going to be also then, or you have also right now available a documentation page here, data consolidation for all data cubes. You can read more about this here. But after you enable these parameters in the next step, and the consolidation is enabled, in the next step, there's going to be this section available. And in this section, you will have a list of all the companies that are available in your standard ERP. So in the previous selection, there was only company one and company two specified, but you can also select companies that have not specified in the previous step here. So if you have 50 companies, they will be listed here. And then just have to check which companies you like to use for the import. And there's also option to add additional companies or additional information through source files. But then it's then you have to upload the specific files within specific format. So that's an option available as well. So that was one of the biggest features that we enabled this version, total consolidation for all cubes. And we're also now releasing, officially releasing the incremental import. To give you the background on this, understand how incremental import is different from the current one, is that previously, right now, how it worked was that Flex.bi, you have to specify in the application how many days in the past Flex.bi should re-import. If you have not specified that, then the default value is 90 days. So that means that every time you run import, Flex.bi would import all the invoices up to 90 days ago, just to make sure that there's nothing that it missed, right? Maybe you changed an invoice 3 months ago, you want to see the change in Flex.bi. That's why the data imported everything, because he didn't know what you changed, but they just know, okay, 30 days ago, fine. Then I'll just, it went through all the 30 days and checked if there's any differences and just imported if there were any. Now with incremental import, the difference is that now we get information. Now we can get information from Hansaworld or standard ERP about what has been changed since the last import. Like we have information about that, and we're using that. That when the import finishes, we know what we imported, and when the next import runs, we ask your Hansaworld or your standard ERP only what has been changed. So if you only changed one invoice, you created 3 invoices since the last import, Flex.bi will import 3 invoices instead of going back all the 3 months and checking everything up to 3 months ago. So the good part about it is that it imports is faster. It means that we don't have to re-import everything. So obviously it makes it faster. We import only changes. And this also means less pressure on your standard ERP server. And it also means that the imports finish quicker and the data is more real-time. This is one of our customers that we checked the difference between when they enabled incremental import and the previous result was this, and when they enabled incremental import, this was the result. And the reason why it's not super low is that right now not all of the registers are supported for incremental import from Hansaworld, right? So some Hansaworld registers, depending on your Hansaworld version, are not yet available for import. For example, maybe your Hansaworld version, maybe you have a lot of customers and the Hansaworld doesn't support yet customers for incremental, means that customers are gonna be re-imported every time anyway. So that's the difference. So for this customer, the difference was like 35% faster, but it might vary a lot from different people. And this incremental import is available for free. You can go and enable it right now and start using the incremental import. To do that, technically, how it works is that when you go to the Hansaworld import options in your application, then in both extra dimensions and cube properties sections, there's going to be the registers list. And what you have to do is just have to click on select all here, and this will enable incremental import for all the available registers. And you also have to go into cube properties and then go into advanced options for all the other cubes as well, like financials, enable all for incremental import here, and also invoices and all the other cubes that you have. Just enable incremental import. And after you tick this, just click import and the application will start in the future importing through incremental import. One thing to note is that after the first import, you might come back and notice that some checkboxes are missing again. The reason for that is that Flex.bi will check during the first incremental import. Flex.bi will check what registers are available for incremental import from the Hansaworld side, and if it's not available, then it just untick automatically. So some register will be missing, but those who are available for incremental import, those will be available, and it will work as incremental. And here's also the documentation page. Where you can read a little bit more about the incremental import. And also for the partners that have some custom registers, it's possible with HAL to add these to incremental import as well. That's just like as a side note. So to wrap it up, I was testing the new version. When I was testing the new version, I was trying different scenarios, and this is kind of how I felt about our imports right now. That in the past when the first Flex.bi version, in the first Flex.bi versions, there was only file import available. You just had to import with files. And then we added REST API. Now we have incremental consolidation, and you can put it all together. And it's just amazing, I think. This is how we kind of feel right now about everything that we added, and it's just there's a lot of stuff and ways how to import your data right now. Thank you for joining. I hope this was useful and you have a better understanding about the new version. Thank you, Dave. And hope you see you in the next webinar, and hope you like the new version as much as we do. Thank you for joining.